Hey everyone, this is Royal with the Paternity University. I have one of my more recent direct coaching, private coaching students here, Miss Shelly. So this is the Student Success Series, and I like to talk about and interview students who have done pretty well for themselves. And Shelly has done pretty well for herself over the past couple of months, but there's still so much more to go. So Shelly, without further ado, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Royal. Doing really well.
Okay, look, you're in your office, you have your uniform on. I don't even have my own uniform on. I'm just wearing, whatever at the moment. So tell us how you got interested in this industry.
Okay, so I, like Royal said, I'm Shelly, founder of Paternity Pros. Um, I got into this industry because, well, let me just back up a little. For most of my adult life, I've worked at a law firm handling conflicts of interest. And then I stepped away from corporate America after a loved one got sick and I was needed to take care of them. So I stepped away for a while and then I was doing like little gig jobs just to make ends meet. Um, but I realized gig workers don't get the respect they deserve. And while I enjoyed the flexibility, the respect wasn't there and just some other things. But I just kept looking like I have to find something that I enjoy and that also gives me the flexibility. And eventually came up on Paternity University, and I've been excited ever since and just taking one step up each day, and I love it here.
That's so dope. So Shelly, y'all, is a private coaching student. So I offer private coaching for students who want that direct, sales training, problem solving, all that good stuff. Shelly, I think you started in like January, like either late December,
I
January of 2024, I believe, timeframe.
I think January 23rd I started.
Okay, great. So
January 23rd.
I think that, yeah, I think that was it. January 23rd, I think you bought the course and you started, and we started our
Hmm.
first direct meeting. And so how long did it take you? A lot of people ask me this. How long did it take you to go through the course, right? They always ask me that, go through the course, get started, make your first sale. How long did it take you?
So it took me a couple weeks because I was taking notes and like rewatching stuff to make sure I understood it. And then I wanted to also keep current and not miss any of the calls, the current, like the newer calls. So it took me a while, but thank God I had the time. And by a while, I mean, I still watch stuff. Like if I'm here and I'm bored, I'll go back and watch stuff. But to go through the whole thing, probably, I don't know, 2 weeks or so, but I went back because some things weren't clear or like did I not get it right? So I just went back just to be sure. So probably a week and a half or 2 weeks to
Yeah.
really go through everything.
A lot of people they ask me that, like, how long is it going to take me to go through it? And I say, really, it's on you. But a lot of the things you're not
Yeah.
going to get on the first go round. It's not like you're going to completely understand
Mhm.
how to do paternity testing
Yeah.
on the first watch. It's going to take you a few weeks, sometimes months, like sometimes 6 months from now. You might be in a situation, Shelly, where you're like, wait a minute, I think he might have said something about that. And you might go back to that module and be
Yeah.
like, oh, he
Yeah.
did say that,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um
I've had that.
Yep, yep. So what were our meetings like? Like you would go through the course, which is the pre-recorded content, but what about when me and you would speak? How was that like?
Um, I forgot now. When we spoke, it was, I mean, you allowed me to ask my questions, but a lot of it was sales training calls, right? I'm
Mhm.
not missing anything. A
You're
lot of
like,
it was
I've done so
sales
many,
training.
you're like, I've done so many paternity tests since then, I didn't forgot. Yeah, a lot of it is like answering your
Uh,
questions, but then going through the sales training,
yeah,
the phone calls, because
yeah.
how do most people find you and buy from you? How do they do it, Shelly?
Online, like, well, they don't buy from me online, but they find me, like on Google Maps or whatever.
Yep.
And then they end up calling me. So
Yep.
a lot of the calls and everything that really helped me.
Yep.
And
The
I
sales
have
call
to say
training.
I did, yeah, that I felt miserably my first couple calls because during our group sessions, I would hear like when you would call on someone to, participate in a sales call, they would say, "Oh, I don't have my script. I can't do it." And I was afraid of that happening to me. So I was like, I'm not going by this script. I'm gonna like freestyle and just go by what I know. But what I found was that I needed the script because I'm like out here, like trying to freestyle on my own. And even though I knew the answers to what they were asking, it would have been 20 times easier. So I found myself looking for the script, like what module is the script in? Let me find the script because I need it. And once I got the script and I started using it and just threw my own thing away, I was able to, and I lost opportunities because of that, because even though I knew the answers, it was like it was more streamlined, like the way you had the script. It's
Mm.
like they're probably gonna ask you this. This is what you say. There, like you pretty much, took us through every single thing, and you were on point. And I was out here trying to, a rookie trying to do my own thing and failing miserably. So
That's what
I learned that.
I tell my other coaching students. I mean, my last one, she signed up a few weeks ago, and she was like, "How do I be successful?" And I was like, "This is how you do it." And I was like, "Not to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean. You do what I tell you to do. Don't. I mean,
It's
initially, if you're
true.
trying to get your initial sales, right? Your initial sales and
Yeah.
get going, do what I tell you to do. Once you get your initial sales and you figure out your rhythm, you can freestyle how you want."
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure, Shelly, you've been doing that. We can talk about that. But nah, to get your initial calls, your sales, do, do this right here. Talk.
even after like that's pretty much the stuff you put in the course. That's what people want to know.
Yep.
So
Yep.
even after you get comfortable, those are questions that they still want answered, so
Mhm.
stick to the script.
Stick to the script. That's right. It's
My
made for you.
advice.
The script is
Yeah.
included in the course. People ask me, what's up? The script, that script right there. I wrote that script after answering hundreds of calls and figuring it out myself. And there you go. And I gave that script to my
Yeah.
employee who's then been able to not only help me build the business, but help you too as well. Anyway, so
Yeah.
let's talk about your very first sale, how that made you
Okay.
feel. Let's talk about that.
Oh gosh. I was so happy after it was done, but so I got the call early in the morning and she asked me where was I located and I told her she got the price and everything. And she said, "Okay." I gave her my address. She said, "Okay." And it's funny because the day before this happened, I had my one-on-one call with you and you told me this would one day happen and I didn't really pay attention to it. But the following day I get this call and
Hey.
I get this call and she's like, "What is your address? I need to call the dad to see what time he's gonna come." Because I'm thinking more around 4 o'clock. So I have 4 o'clock in my mind, but I'm still waiting for her to call the dad and then get back to me. So I get a call like, a little before 4. I'm outside. Where are you? Where's the
Yep.
door? Like, which door do I come in? And I was like, oh my gosh. The good thing I had all my supplies and everything ready to go. But I was not expecting her because I'm thinking she's just another caller who's gonna call back and
Hmm.
don't call back.
Hmm.
So yeah, she was outside and she was ready to go. And I was a little nervous. It's my first one, and I'm doing it in a building that I really wasn't supposed to be using, but I used it. And anyway, she came and she had the child, and I tested her, and then the father came a couple minutes later, and I was I was thinking to myself, how does Royal say this thing takes like 5 minutes? But I think because of my nerves and everything,
Hmm.
I was like going super slow and just trying to make sure I followed all the right steps because of course my first one was a chain of custody. So,
Hmm.
I want to make sure they have everything so they don't send back for information or so I don't have to call the client back to, fill out something that they didn't. So I'm trying to make sure I have everything. So I'm gonna say it took me about 40 minutes or so to finish with
Oh
her.
wow,
And she had
really?
a little kid. well, yeah, she had a kid who was running around and so it,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that didn't help either. But I
Yep.
got through it, and then right after her, I also had a young man who he was calling me. He wanted me to come out to him, so I had to go to his house. So I had my first day selling. I actually made two sales.
Two sales.
That one was a lot easier because it was less paperwork. It was just a peace of mind test.
Okay.
But yeah, I was very excited, and like to see the money I made in that short space of time, for doing really not much.
Hmm.
I drove to his house. It was like 15 minutes away from mine, because of traffic. But I was really excited at the end of the day, you
You did
know.
it. Yeah. I remember when you said that. You did two in one day in your first day of selling, which is just unheard of.
Yeah.
And that's a few $100s in
Yeah.
sales that you otherwise would not have
Mhm.
made if you did not take the plunge into this industry.
Right.
So how has it been since, right? Like my coaching students and then the self-paced students, some of them, right? Like they'll start making their first sales, right? Especially the coaching students, right? We'll do like 4 weeks and then I just won't hear from y'all again for like a while. And then you'll hit me up and be like, Royal, I sold X amount of $1,000 of tests today. And I'm like, dang, that's
Mhm.
crazy. Like, that's awesome. Congratulations. But
Yeah.
how has it been since that first? You don't have to give real numbers if you don't want to. That's fine. But how has it been
Mhm.
since then, business wise? Has it been trending upwards? Has it been kind of up and down?
It's up and down. So after those first two, then I had days where, I'd get plenty of calls, no sales.
Hmm.
And then I would have days when I'd get one call and a sale, and then, no sales, no calls, nothing. And I'm like looking at my phone, like, is this thing working? Did I
Yep.
turn it off? Like,
Yep.
so it's been up and down, but I was just comparing, I think yesterday, where I am this month, and I compared it to where I was on the 15th last month, and my numbers are pretty much the same.
Mm.
But I don't get a call every day, or but some days, like one day I had four tests, like in a short space of time.
Hmm.
I think I texted you
I
that
remember
day
that.
because I was like, whoa, this is possible.
Hmm.
I had four, and it's like it like from between 4 and 7 or something like that.
Hmm.
But they were all in the evening. Look, I'm getting off of work. Where are you? What time? Can you stay awake for me? I'm like, I'm here till 11.
Wow.
But I'm
Wow.
I try to tell them, come on, because FedEx closes at this time. You want to get your samples out. The quicker you get them
There
out,
you
the
go.
quicker you get your results. So
Control the
yeah, one day.
conversation. You are doing that is incredible. And that's the thing is like this business is it's like I always say it's nothing, nothing, nothing. Nothing,
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah,
Sale, nothing. And but it may seem up and down like a roller coaster, but it's trending this
yeah,
way slowly but surely.
yeah,
It's like a plane
yeah,
that's taking off and doesn't immediately go like this. It's like a slow
yeah,
climb, but it's steady. When you look back, you're like, I made that amount
yeah.
in X amount of time. It's just steady. So seriously, congratulations to that. What has been the most difficult test to try to sell to people? I think I know the answer to this already, but what's been the most difficult test to try to sell?
Honestly, I think you're thinking the nip tests, like
Hmm.
the
That's what I'm
prenatals,
thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
but
No.
not for me. Um, Most people, I mean, to be honest, I'm not trying to sell. I just give them information. That's
Okay.
something I need
There
to
you
work
go.
on.
There you go.
But for me right now, I'm comfortable with just giving them the information and, encouraging them. I'm here if you need me. I'm here. You can make your appointment, come in same day,
Mm,
because now I'm in a building where I have the phlebotomist here.
mm.
So, it's just very easy to get it done the same day. So I don't really try to sell. I just provide the information, but um yeah, I'm not really selling, but the people who call about it, like if they know about how much it costs, they're usually ready to go. Like
Yeah.
I've done three total, but I don't really try to sell. That's it's like either they know it's expensive, either they have the money or they don't. Like I don't really push, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I
and that's
haven't been doing that.
that's what I say in the course as well is like you don't want to do the hard sell. you kind of want to just give the information. If they'll remember you because of how nice you are and how informative
Yeah,
you were, and they'll call back at some point in time. It may not be the next
yeah,
day, it may not be the same day. Sometimes it may be the same day. It may be a month
yeah.
from now, and they'll call back and have you had any sales? I'm pretty sure you have, where somebody might have called two or three times and then they booked with you. Have you had that happen yet?
Um, I've had not two or three times, but more than once. But what I've come to find out is like today's callers are next week's clients.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
go.
like that's
Mhm.
pretty much how they go. Like
Mhm.
you call today, as long as you treat them good, you provide the answers they need, you tell them, look, I'm available, this time. And in my area, people love that they're able to they don't have to pay ahead of time. They can
Mhm.
just come in same day, pay, come in after work, before work, whenever. And they love that they don't have to pay until they get
Yeah,
here. Except for my NIP test. I request, payment before, but
definitely depends.
everything else they can come in and pay. Um,
Hmm.
but they love that. They love that. And like I said, as long as I treat them good, even if I answer their questions and they don't come in today, I know I'm going to get a call next week,
Okay.
or I feel like I will.
You know what?
Or even next month.
I never I never thought of it. I never put it that succinctly when you said today's callers are next week's clients. I always said to myself and to other students, you'll get a bunch of calls and in a few weeks they may buy. But that mantra right there, specifically that you just said, today's callers are next week's clients. That's some all of y'all out there, even myself, to remind myself, that's something to remember, y'all. Everybody out there,
Yeah,
you're gonna get a bunch of calls. I'm like, man, why is no? And then next thing you know, there's gonna be sales coming in. You're like, wow. Another thing that you mentioned, Shelly. Yeah, like I say to people, people ask me all the time, do I have to have an office to start off? I said, no, you don't. You don't have to, but if you can do it because of the
yeah,
reason, that people you don't have to have them pay prior. You they can come to the office. It's a relaxed environment, then they can pay, and that makes them more comfortable. But go ahead.
yeah. No, I was just gonna say I didn't have one at first. But the space I was using, there was an issue with it, and then I had to turn away a couple clients because they weren't
Mm,
open to me coming to them, and I had to turn away a couple clients. I'm like, I'm not going to keep throwing money down the drain like that.
mm,
So I figured with the space I have now, as long as I'm able to do a test or two, I can cover my rent, and but I don't need. I mean, not I don't need, but it's better to have a space. You do better. I feel like I've done better since I've had the space, and it's just less stressful. I don't have to, wonder, okay, where am I going to take my clients today? Which room is
mm-hmm,
going to be available? They're coming here. I have
mm-hmm.
this address on my website. I have this address everywhere. Like they know I'm here.
Yep. It
Like I have this one
legitimizes.
caller.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I had a caller 2 days ago. She's actually, she said she's coming for prenatal at the end of the month, but she wanted to come and check out the space first because she wanted to make sure it was a
Mm-hmm.
legitimate business.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I'm
I
like,
was
yeah,
just
you're
gonna say that.
welcome.
It legitimizes you. It legitimizes you once you have your
Mhm.
own space. And so, like I said, you don't have to have one. I did not have a space starting off. So I had to figure out the whole coordination. And like you said, where, is the quality of service when I send my client off to this different site that I'm not in control of? What is the quality of service going to be like? How does that reflect upon me? And then finally, it was like, okay, I'm going to get my own space. And it worked out
Yeah.
better. So, to all those out there who are racking their brain about it, you can start. I started with a flip phone. Shelly, you started with just your phone and trying to figure out, how to kind of do things in a transient manner. But then you just locked in and was like, I'm gonna make that investment into my own space. And
Yeah.
you got the nice little, I mean, you got the uniform, you got the little photo on the
Yeah.
thing in the background. Like you doing your thing.
Yeah.
Comfortable space for
Yeah.
you.
But I have to say, a lot of it, I have to give you the credit for a lot of it because you came up with this course. And not only that, but the resources you have in place, like we have a meeting tonight. I don't miss those meetings.
You sure don't.
you know, I don't miss those meetings. I'm at every single one of them. And um, it just helps me. They talk, even my uniform. like everything is discussed in the meeting. Like you always have someone suggesting something or
Mm-hmm.
telling about an experience they had, and it just helps me to be better. And I try to share my experiences as well, just in case it helps anyone else. I just really love being in the group. I It
Awesome.
helps me so much. So credit to you, Royal,
Thank
for,
you.
and I know I paid for it, but some people are paying just as much and they're not getting half as much.
Yeah,
So,
the community is major, and it's been something I've been building. In September, it'll be 3 years since I launched Paternity University. So this is a community that's been building for years. So thank you very much for that. Did you set some goals for yourself? I don't remember them specifically, but you know your goals. When you started, have you exceeded some of your goals yet in this business from when you started?
well, I set like a monthly goal for my first month, and
Okay.
I fell short of it, but I'm still proud of, you know, where I fell, like, because I didn't have to do much.
Yeah.
I didn't really have to do much. I did set financial goals for myself. And I'm still working on stuff. I still have a lot of improvements to make. But you know, I didn't meet my goals yet, but I know if I improve up on the things that I need to improve upon, I will meet them.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just getting out there and
I mean,
doing
you're
the
you're
work.
only. I mean, officially started, I think, in what, February, mid-February, late February, like,
January 23rd.
oh,
I
like
got
on Google
verified in
Business.
February. Google Business, February 19th.
Okay. 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 So
Mm-hmm.
I want to, your initial start date is the day that you buy my course and make that investment, but your real start date is the day that you get
Mm-hmm.
verified on Google Business and those calls slowly start trickling in. So from
Yeah.
February 19th to now May 15th, you have done pretty solid for your, like, you've done pretty solid. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like you
Yeah.
have proof of concept for sure. You know this business works,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. It
How,
does. It
go ahead.
does. I'm just agreeing with you. It does work.
Yeah.
It does work, and it doesn't take much. Like the day I sold 4 tests, I was like, oh my gosh, I remember times when I used to have to work 2 weeks to get this kind of money in the bank.
Y'all
You
heard that.
know,
Y'all, I
it
heard
was a
that.
good feeling.
I heard that. I love it. Oh man, that makes me feel. It wasn't just you, Shelly. I think that week it was like you sold for another direct coaching student. I called him just to say hello. I was like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And he's like, "I'm riding around with $1,700 in 50s about to deposit in the bank because somebody just paid me for a prenatal in full." And I was like, "Dang, that's crazy." And I think that was like the same day that you said I did 4, and then the other people I did 3 this week, and I'm like, "Dang, everybody is solving problems and making money and
Good.
helping themselves." So I have a couple more questions for you. How does it feel? Because it's great, you set up on Google Business, you make them awesome. How does it feel to close out a test and give closure to somebody in this paternity situation?
So it just depends on the results and how the people are, to be honest. Sometimes it can be very emotional, and I try not to like tie myself to people's situations, but sometimes it's just hard because like you see someone who could probably have made a perfect dad to a kid, and then you
Mhm.
find out that's not the father, and
Mhm.
you know like you just feel bad for that person because they wanted to be the father. Or like the most difficult one I've had to do was a chain of custody for a woman who she wanted to be the grandmother, like she wanted grandkids.
Mm.
It wasn't hers, and it
Broke her
it
heart.
was so painful. Like with that test, Royal, I actually went against, like I wanted to help her so bad. I went against something that I think your mom's a frequent, not frequent, but she's been on your on
Hmm.
in your classes. And your mom advised against like going against parties who are feuding. Like,
Yeah.
if they're feuding, like you don't reach out to, the other party because you
Hmm.
may end up in the middle of a fight, and
Hmm. Hmm.
it
Hmm.
I went against it only because I wanted to help my client.
Mm,
And, first it was my client and she was happy with me, but in the
mm.
end, it's like when she found out the news that it wasn't, what she wanted it to be, now I became the enemy. So I'm like, it's
Oh
not my
man,
fault.
yeah.
And I never shared this with the group because it was kind of embarrassing for me at first because I didn't um I didn't follow, what I was
Protocol.
taught, like
Yeah.
don't get it. Yeah.
Hmm.
But then when I explained to her the reasoning for my actions, she understood and she actually apologized to me and she,
Hmm.
she explained to me that she was disappointed because the results
The
weren't what she
results.
wanted and she wanted grandkids and so it
Mm,
can be very emotionally draining, but I've learned since then, don't, like, for me, I just look at, okay, the person who needs to know who's the father, mother, or grand,
mhm.
like that person that is like, I consider them like the victim, and I
Mm.
just focus on trying to help that person, you know, get answers, and that's it.
And
I
that's
don't
it.
try to say, oh, I'm doing this because this is my client, this is the person paying for the test, or this person did the wrong thing when they didn't know who the I don't do that. I
Mm,
just try to focus on the person who's going to know for sure now that is my father or that is my mother, or focus on that person
hmm.
because they didn't have a choice in anything, you understand?
Mm.
So I've learned to not like feel sorry, like not I'm not heartless, but I've learned to not put too much emotions in,
Mhm. You don't
how.
you don't want to be too emotionally invested. Some things you are because some situations are just so sad or just like dang, like you are rooting, for whatever outcome. But like generally, and trust me, I think everybody who has been in this business for longer than a year has been completely embarrassed by some actions that they did, right?
Yeah,
Just like, oh dang, I was cringy. I should have did that. But we're humans at the same time. We're human beings, right? And so you're
mhm,
gonna have emotional investment sometimes. It's okay as long as, like you said, it's not something that it ultimately influences the results or anything else.
yeah,
You're a neutral third
right,
party. That's where they're coming to you.
yeah.
You learned a
Yeah,
lesson.
like I would never do anything to risk, to
Sure.
put my business at risk. I wouldn't do that. But
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, like you want to try to help because if you have two parties that one is not cooperating and you feel like you saying, like explaining to them how the process works will help them to cooperate so that your client can get the
Hmm.
answers that, that they need
Hmm.
to help this child that's in the middle and can't help
Hmm.
themselves.
They can't
Like,
help themselves.
yeah, so you're like trying to do the right thing, but it's like you just got to be careful and draw that line
Hmm.
where one person doesn't feel like you're on their side just because, or you're supposed to be on their side because they're the ones paying for this.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
still have to be fair to both parties, and yeah.
It's well, look, you've been in business for a little bit under 4 months.
Mhm.
Like these are lessons that you're learning on a fast track that
Yeah,
you're probably going to remain in business doing this for the next decade or so. So it's just like
I
in four
hope
months,
so.
I'm pretty sure you will. Like if you, and I
Yeah.
say this to people all the time, if you establish a good, solid DNA testing company in your local area and you get to be known as that person, you're gonna have a business that lasts for years and years and years. It's not gonna go away. So
That's my goal.
yeah, you'll do it. I mean, I always said if somebody can figure out New Jersey very well, then you'll be good. Now, I have my last question for you. Have you
Mhm.
made have you made your money back from the coaching course?
I definitely have. I've made my money. I've made my rent.
Yep, there you go. Yeah,
I've made my office space
you're in the
rent.
black. Yeah, yeah, you're good to
Yeah.
go. You're profitable. That's good to hear. I'm very happy to hear stuff like that. Like it takes just put in the work and learn and be willing to just listen, uh follow the script, you know,
Yeah, definitely do that.
follow the script
That'll make
and
you more money if you follow the script.
that's right. And now you
Not
have
just when I,
your own office with your canvas in the background and that's super awesome. That is really you it this is y'all, this is a testament to somebody investing in themselves and their business. All right. Look,
Yeah. And I just wanted to put in a plug for you, Royal, because
sure.
like some people may be watching and they're like, oh, this is too good to be true. Or, you have to ask yourself, like, why are you afraid to do it? Are you afraid, like, to purchase the course? Why would you be afraid to purchase the course? Are you afraid because you don't think you know how to run a business? Or is it because you fear like you won't handle clients' confidentiality properly? Like if that's your fear, then you have a legitimate fear and you should
Hmm.
probably stay away from the course. But if you're afraid because you think it's a scam or it's a waste of money, if you're willing to do a little bit of work, it's not a waste of money.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
that's what I would tell people. And you
It's an
have
investment.
support. Like I can go on like 10 o'clock at night. I'm in the Slack channel just looking like, okay, did anybody say anything new? 4 o'clock in the morning, I get up, I pray, and then I'm like, let me check the
Mm.
Slack. I'm like a creep. Like I'm always in the Slack channel looking to see if anything new came up or,
Yep.
like I check it just as much as I check my emails.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. That's
There's
good.
always good stuff in there.
I'm glad that you get value out of this. And I want to, Shelly is communicating it, y'all, there's value in this stuff. And this is a good business to be in, but you have to ask yourself, is this something that you are truly capable of doing? Because this is not for everybody. This is not. You have to
Mm,
have a certain level of
yeah.
emotional intelligence to do this. So it's not for everybody, but if you're interested,
And
obviously,
professionalism.
and professionalism, professionalism at the
Yeah.
highest level.
'Cause you can't go around telling people's business. You can't mention people's names. You have
Hmm.
to you have to protect people's privacy
Hmm.
because you wouldn't want your business out there if,
Hmm. Here's what's going to
I
happen,
meant to
Shelly.
say.
Here's what's going to
Hmm.
happen. And by the end of this year, here's what's going to happen. Since you're so close to New York City, and
Hmm.
this is time stamped, y'all. All right. So by the end of the year, you're going to get your first probably high net worth or possibly celebrity client. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, I hope so. That's I've heard someone in the group say it, and I'm like, I have a lot of celebrities, close to me.
Hmm.
I'm hoping to get into that market because, yeah, I would just
By the
love to be
way,
able to.
did you know I learned this from my mom? For everybody watching, my mom has been doing this since 2002, right? She is combined, me and my mom have 25 years of experience in the DNA business. She told me a few weeks, I did not know that. She was like, did you know that one of the laboratories has a specific team and department that handles high net worth and celebrity individuals? It's not even through the regular account. And I was like,
Oh,
dang, I didn't know
I
that.
didn't know.
But that
Is
makes
it one
sense.
I'm affiliated with? Do you know?
No, it's the other one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's meant
okay.
it's meant it's specifically they have a small team that specifically handles celebrities that
Okay.
everybody would know or like extremely high net worth. I think the way you even do the test is slightly different. Like the way you
I'm
do it
gonna
is
get my
slightly
lab
different.
on board, Royal.
Yeah.
I'll be the one.
You'll do it. You'll do it. You're gonna knock it out. So Shelly, do you have any, well, you kind of said it already, like what the value of the course is. So you kind of said we don't want to beat that dead horse, but seriously, thank you kindly. I appreciate you. I've been looking forward to this one. Keep going. You're only 4 months in. That's incredible.
Mhm.
That is incredible work.
Yeah.
So keep it up.
Thank you, Royal. Thanks. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the support I have with the group. I appreciate the guest people, the guest speakers, your mom.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, she is invaluable. I wish you'd bring her on more often.
I'm gonna have her on the next session. So tonight's session, we're gonna do
Okay.
that, and then the next one I'm gonna have her on again.
Okay, yeah, I just appreciate even, people in the group who are new, like I learned from everybody. I don't
Mhm.
feel like, oh, I'm only gonna learn from Royal. I learned from everyone. Like I said, even the suggestion for my uniform came from someone in the group.
Yes.
And just everything from the big things to the little things. Like you're gonna find everything in our little group, and I love it. I love it.
Yes. Love it. Awesome. Shelly, to many more successes for you in the coming years. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for trusting me and trusting the community. And hey, y'all, if you guys are interested, in possibly getting into this industry, you can go to paternityuniversity.com. It has all your options there. We have a self-paced course, which includes all the ebooks and everything. You can get the ebook by itself. You can get the private coaching for me, which I think is an accelerator program, honestly, because that joint will get you off the ground faster than any other program out there. So, just little self-talk there. But to everybody, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Until next time, peace.